And then it's interesting because Dave Quinn, who works at People, he's a writer for People, he ended up calling out Paige because Paige tried to say that Carl and Lindsay, that one, Lindsay knew that she was being proposed to. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Maybe she was picking up on the signs. I'm pretty sure, listen, you can usually start to pick up on little signs and guess a bit, right? So I think maybe she was thinking, oh, maybe it'll happen today. Maybe this is when this moment is actually going to happen. Her and Carl remain adamant that they were not prepared for the engagement. They didn't know, or that she was not prepared. She didn't know about it, that it was a total surprise and shocked her. But Paige is like, she wore shoulder pads to the beach. That's a big sign that she wore shoulder pads to the beach. Then Paige gets into the fact that this came out as a People exclusive. And she's just like, see, I know how People magazine works. I know how it works. You have to prepare those things in advance and blah, 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 blah. And Dave Quinn, who works at People, has now come out and he's like, well, I guess you don't know how People works because it wasn't Carl and Lindsay that reached out to us. It was actually the network. It was a rep from Bravo that called and asked People to run a story because they were afraid that this was going to leak with the fact that Carl proposed in public and he was caught on camera and that the rest of the cast then found out that, like, they were prepared for this to get out there. So they would rather jump ahead of it and ask People to cover the exclusive. And listen, they do that all the time, right? With trailers, with, cast photos. Like, they work with People quite a bit. So, I mean, Dave Quinn's the one that wrote the book on Bravo. He wrote Not All Diamonds and Rose. So they do have that close, tight relationship that when they want something big to come out, I can see them reaching out to Dave Quinn and being like, hey, Carl and Lindsay got proposed to. Here's a good story that you can run with. And we stay ahead of the narrative, right? So Dave is adamant that it was not Carl and Lindsay that reached out, that it was actually the network that reached out. And the network is the one that wanted this to be official in the press and wanted it to be an exclusive. And it was. So I think Paige is just bitter. And I ain't mad to say that. I think she's bitter.